Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
All right, everyone, welcome to today's ASRG webinar. But before we get started, I'd like to tell you a little bit about ASRG and get some of the legal stuff out of the way. ASRG is a nonprofit organization founded to support the development of the automotive security industry. We have developed a platform and a community to share knowledge, communicate through networks, and to build value with collaboration. This is a community for you, built by you, with the goal to protect our friends and family when using automotive products. If you want to learn more about ASRG or get more involved, please visit our website at www.asrg.io or send us an email at hello@asrg.io. Before we jump into the presentation today, let's get some of the legal stuff taken care of. The views and opinions expressed in this webinar are the views of those that have made them. They do not represent views or opinions of ASRG and are to be considered as informational. The use of this information is to be used by the individual and/or organization at their own risk.
Welcome everyone to this video on cybersecurity and artificial intelligence, where I want to provide an overview of cybersecurity and artificial intelligence in the automotive industry and beyond. As you can see in the title, we will mainly focus on the opportunities of using AI as cybersecurity engineers and experts to improve our systems and the daily businesses, as well as the threats of the usage itself and the use of AI by cybercriminals. My name is Sebastian Lembert, but I will introduce myself a bit later down the line, and I'm here for the ASRG from the Melster Consulting GmbH, which I will introduce likewise. But first, let us start with the agenda for today. At the beginning, as I already mentioned, I will introduce myself and the Melster Consulting GmbH. In this way, you get a better understanding of my point of view and my background. After this, we will start with the main parts of this presentation, starting with the introduction of cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. I assume that not everybody watching is an expert on both fields. Many of you might be familiar with one of them, but not the other, or just interested in both fields with just some fundamentals. This is why I want to start explaining what cybersecurity in the automotive industry means and what the basics are, as well as why it is so important right now for the future of all of us as a community. Coming up right after this is an overview of artificial intelligence, what it is, what the important terms and definitions are, and how it is used in the automotive industry and again beyond. After we have taken care of the basics, we will discuss the opportunities of AI for cybersecurity. In this topic, I will focus on 5 subfields of cybersecurity and what can be improved there. The fourth topic will be the threats of AI for cybersecurity, in which I will also examine 5 subfields of cybercrimes or cyber risks, so to speak. Lastly, I will give an outlook on the future of both fields separately and their increasing connectivity of them, or in other words, both fields as a unit. Let's begin with the introduction of myself and the company I'm working for. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sebastian Lembert. I studied automotive engineering at HTW in Berlin from 2015 to 2021, graduating with a bachelor's degree in 2018 and a master's degree in 2021. Since 2019, I have been working at Melster Consulting as a consultant for functional safety, cybersecurity, and information security. I've also been a lecturer for automotive cybersecurity at HTW in Berlin in 2022 and 2023. Briefly about my qualifications. These are the Information Security Officer according to ISO SAE 27001, the Automotive Cybersecurity Engineer according to ISO SAE SAE 21434. I'm also an automotive space provisional assessor, currently still according to PAM 3.1, and a safe agilist as well as Scrum Master. Next on the list, I want to introduce the Melster Consulting GmbH, the company I'm working for. Melster Consulting is a small consulting company located in Berlin and was founded 2019 by Ronald Melster. On the right, you see a small selection of our customers. We already worked for the who is who in the automotive industry. Our main topics are, as you might already guessed, information security, cybersecurity, but also process improvement and functional safety. If you want to check us out, please visit our website, scan the QR code, or contact us directly under the given email address. Now with that out of the way, let us start with the first topic, an introduction to cybersecurity. As I already said, I'm assuming that not everybody listening or watching this video is familiar with cybersecurity in the automotive industry or even consider himself or herself an expert in this topic. So let me start explaining the fundamentals of cybersecurity, what we understand when we talk about this in the automotive industry, and what the main definitions are. The most important thing to know is the definition of automotive cybersecurity. Automotive cybersecurity is the condition in which an asset is sufficiently protected against threat scenarios for electrical or electronic components of road vehicles and their functions. To understand this, we need to look at two other terms. These are assets and threats. An asset is a valuable object with cybersecurity properties, which means everything that we can consider in our development as valuable for us. Security properties, on the other hand, means, for example, confidentiality, integrity, or availability. A threat is the cause of an impairment of such a property. So when we take those two together and look at the definition from above again, then cybersecurity in the automotive sector is the condition in which every cybersecurity property or an object with such a property is sufficiently protected against any cause of an impairment of these properties, for example, confidentiality. Now that we all know what cybersecurity in the automotive sector is, we need to understand why it is so important right now. When we look at these numbers coming from a statistic provided by Forbes, we see that in the last year, 2023, over 2,000 cyber attacks with over 343 million victims happened, and since 2021, we also had an increase in data breaches by 72%, with an average cost of one data breach of about $4.45 million. These numbers are quite astonishing, aren't they? But why is there such an increase, you may ask? The globe becomes more and more interconnected, and everyone is reliant on digital technologies. We in our daily lives, as well as all industries. That's why cybercrime is surging right now, and will be in the future, or even will increase even more. But what do we do against this? Let's cover this next. At the moment, there are 3 standards and regulations in place. The first one is ISO SAE 21434. This is also where the definitions from before came from. It is the automotive cybersecurity standard in which cybersecurity in the series production of EE systems of road vehicles is covered. EE systems are electrical and electronic systems, including their components and their interfaces. It also covers the implementation of a cybersecurity management system in an automotive development company. The next one is a regulation, specifically the UNICE R155. It is the proposal for new UN regulations on uniform provisions concerning the approval of vehicles with regards to cybersecurity management systems. So it is an obligation to establish a cybersecurity management system, or short CSMS, and demonstrate its effectiveness as a necessity for the type approval of new vehicle types. Lastly, there is the Automotive Spice for Cybersecurity plugin and the new MLE process group in the PAM 4.0. They cover processes for the improvement of cybersecurity and machine learning, which we will cover in the artificial intelligence section coming up next. To understand machine learning, we need to start with artificial intelligence as the main topic. Here I want to give you an introduction in the same way I did for cybersecurity. I will cover the main terms and definitions and give you a brief overview on how it works and how to differentiate between the most important subfields of AI. In artificial intelligence, there are 4 related but different technologies we need to understand. The first one is artificial intelligence itself, or short AI. The second one is machine learning, short ML. Next we have deep learning, short DL, and lastly deep neural networks or just neural networks, short DNN or NN. As you can see in the figure on the right, those are all subfields of each other. The main topic is artificial intelligence, followed by machine learning, which is a subfield of AI, followed by deep learning and neural networks being subfields of ML. What this all means and what the fundamentals of each of them will be covered in the next slides. For now, let me tell you the definition of artificial intelligence. If you Google artificial intelligence, you will find many definitions, because it's very important to know in which field you are and what you want to know. I focused on 2 definitions I have summarized, which are a system that is capable of thinking rational, comparable to a human, and another definition that explains this definition even further by stating artificial intelligence is a system that is capable of discovering, learning, adapting, and conducting self-correction. Let's talk about what a system needs to be considered intelligent or artificial intelligent. So let's look at the requirements. The first requirement is natural language processing, which means that the system needs to be able to understand natural language and that it is not required to provide code or programming language to communicate to the system. The second requirement is knowledge representation, which means that the system needs some sort of database on its own or the rights to access any sort of database, for example the internet, which is the case for most chatbots. Third, we have automated reasoning based on stored knowledge, so the ability of the system to be able to make decisions based on the knowledge stored in the given or accessed database. The fourth requirement is machine learning, which means that the system needs to be able to improve itself based on the feedback we are giving to the system based on the reasoning or decisions it makes. The next 3 requirements I have listed here are optional requirements. When we are talking about robotics, for example, an artificial intelligence needs motion, so the ability to move. In addition, an artificial intelligence system can also have the ability to cover or to convert text to speech, and it can have vision, so the ability to see or to listen what we say or what we are showing to it. These 3 are not required to be considered artificial intelligent, but it is a bonus of some sort many artificial intelligence systems have right now. For example, a smart car, able to conduct automated driving, needs to be able to see its surrounding and move on its own. Next, let's talk about the categorization of AI. As you can see on the right, there are 3 main categories of AI. Artificial Narrow Intelligence, short ANI, Artificial General Intelligence, short AGI, and Artificial Superintelligence, short ASI. ANI is considered weak AI. It is only able to do a specific task we trained it for. Examples for this is Siri, Alexa, any chatbots like ChatGPT, and autonomous vehicles. AGIs and ASIs, on the other hand, are considered strong AIs. They don't exist yet. An AGI, for example, needs to be on par with a human, and an ASI needs to be beyond our capabilities. Now that we covered artificial intelligence and the requirements a system needs to be considered artificial intelligent, let's talk about machine learning, a subset of artificial intelligence. Machine learning is the ability to identify patterns and to learn from the environment or the information given. Important to note is that machine learning is different from programming. This gets clearer if you look on the right. There you can see the process of a system conducting machine learning. In this case, a human would reward or penalize the system depending on the output it provides. This is done by providing the system data which it needs to conclude things from. For example, if you take an autonomous vehicle as the system we are looking at, you present it pictures of traffic signs, for example, and ask the system to decide which picture shows which signs, for example, a stop sign. It will give us an output that we then check and either reward or penalize the system. This process can be done with either labeled, tagged, or classified datasets, or unlabeled, untagged, or non-classified datasets. This is then called supervised or unsupervised machine learning. The last subfield I want to explain is a subset of machine learning, or indirectly a subfield of artificial intelligence. This is deep learning or deep machine learning, and the resulting or needed deep neural networks or just neural networks. Deep learning uses, as already said, deep or multi-layered neural networks, which are able to process large amounts of data, identify patterns, relationships, and even phenomena. Every layer in such a network refines the prediction or decision through weights and biases that are given for every step. To stick with the same example from before, we look at a self-driving car and the task to provide us with every picture of a stop sign or to identify a stop sign while driving. In this case, you have different criteria, which can be, for example, the size of the sign, if there are letters or numbers on it, or the shape of the sign. If you weight those for a stop sign, the shape would be the most important because it is unique among signs, and you can identify it even if you can't identify the letters. In this way, artificial intelligence systems that uses deep learning and neural networks can give much more precise predictions and more accurate decisions. Now that we covered all the basics, let's jump into the opportunities AI can provide for cybersecurity and the opportunities the usage of AI by cybersecurity experts can bring. In this part, I want to cover 5 different subfields of cybersecurity in which AI can provide a major benefit on the daily businesses and the tasks to do. The first one I want to cover is advanced threat intelligence, where I want to look at conventional IPS systems and IDS systems versus AI-supported systems. The second part is the attack prevention, where we want to look at the enhancement of awareness levels of personnel and the possibilities of AI being able to prevent social engineering and phishing attacks. In the third part, I want to talk about vulnerability and patch management and the usage of AI tools to find vulnerabilities and to suggest appropriate patches and even more. In the fourth part, I want to cover incident management as one key part of cybersecurity. And in the last part, I want to look at trends and how being up to date in cybersecurity is crucial for our systems. As mentioned, we want to start with advanced threat intelligence. If you look at the picture on the right, you see a conventional but abstract system architecture. This could be your smart car's software architecture or the general architecture of the ECUs inside our vehicle, which is surrounded by the box showing our system borders. Every system, and this is the same thing for smart cars, has several input signals coming into our system from the outside, for example over-the-air updates or a smartphone connected via Bluetooth. This is where an intrusion prevention system can bring major benefits. For those who are not familiar with an intrusion prevention system, or short IPS, it can analyze data which goes into our system and is looking for any threats or anomalies in this traffic and is able to shut down such a traffic to protect our system. When we now look at an AI-supported system, we have the opportunity to analyze larger amounts of data from various sources in real time, or at least faster than conventional IPS could, and identify emerging threats, analyze attack methodologies, and provide real-time threat intelligence reports. This allows cybersecurity experts to become more proactive and strengthen or implement cybersecurity measures before attacks happen. A very close topic to intrusion prevention systems are intrusion detection systems. Again, if you look at the picture on the right, we see our architecture from before, but this time we look at all the traffic happening inside, so the signals coming from one component to another. This could be a software component or an ECU, it doesn't matter for this case. An intrusion detection system is trying to identify any suspicious activities to find any attacker already inside our system. In this case, in the same way as before, an AI-supported solution could be able to analyze more data in a faster time and identify suspicious activities, analyze the network traffic, and provide timely warnings to security teams. This time, the major advantage is that an IDS supported by AI can continuously learn from new threat patterns and update its algorithms on its own to be able to find attackers more quickly and more precise. As a quick little summary to this topic, you can say that conventional attack prevention systems, being it IDS or IPS, can be supported by AI to fulfill its given tasks more precise and faster than conventional programmed systems could. The next topic we want to discuss is attack prevention. One main cybersecurity risk is often the human error, or the human falling prey to social engineering and phishing attacks. I think everybody is familiar with these two terms, but for those who are not, phishing and social engineering attacks are those attacks that specifically target humans and our empathy to make us do certain things, being it clicking on a malicious URL or giving access to things the attacker shouldn't have access to. In this topic, the most common way to conduct such attacks is sending emails or messages that contain those malicious URLs or other misleading information. If an AI is used to analyze emails or messages through the natural language processing, it can help detect phishing attempts by recognizing suspicious patterns, misleading informations, or malicious URLs, where you would have a hard time distinguishing it from a normal URL or normal text as a human. AI can also provide security trainings and awareness measures and even conduct attack simulations to strengthen the overall awareness level of personnel. In cybersecurity, as in many different fields, the people working in our company and implementing security measures, maintaining infrastructure, server, and more are crucial to the security as a whole. The third topic, as I said, is vulnerability and patch management. In vulnerability management, we are always looking for weaknesses inside written code or in our systems, and AI tools can analyze large amounts of code, static or dynamic, and identify any potential weaknesses inside, or even building queries to check if we are affected by vulnerabilities we or the system found, for example, from online sources or newsletters. By doing so, we are saving much time and resources to focus on more important parts. A close related topic to vulnerability management is patch management. In patch management, we try to close any weaknesses and vulnerabilities found as fast as we can with appropriate patches or mitigation measures as an early response or an urgent response. For this, AI can suggest patches that would be appropriate to fix weaknesses or suggest mitigation measures for the vulnerabilities found much faster than we as security experts could. In this next topic, we want to talk about incident management. I think you are all familiar with incident management. In incident management, as well as in information security, as a close topic to cybersecurity, it is crucial to react to any incidents in real time, or at least as fast as we can. So rapid response is the key factor here. In incident management, AI-supported tools can support us by having initial incident reports, by giving feedback to the reporter and providing them with initial help. It can also automate ticket systems to help security experts to have a better overview over all incidents and how critical they are in real time. It can provide first-level support to the reporters, as I said, but it can also provide support to the security teams handling incidents by enriching the information the reporters gave to the system, thus freeing up resources and time for security teams to develop measures to fix problems as they occur, or to fulfill other tasks important at the time. Lastly, AI can also generate playbooks on its own to handle incidents as a whole to support security teams even further. The last topic of AI used to support cybersecurity is the opportunity it brings to trend analysis. In cybersecurity, we are heavily reliant on being up to date. We have the constant need to know about new threats, current vulnerabilities and technologies, the state-of-the-art technologies that are considered secure, the attack trends, and the common attack patterns, and so on and so on. To get a better overview, about everything we need to know, and all the points mentioned before, AI can summarize the data we need to provide it to us in real time. In this way, by analyzing trends and giving us summaries, incidents and attacks and vulnerabilities and weaknesses, and everything covered before can be handled quicker and easier. Lastly, in this opportunity section, I want to give a quick summary about everything I said. For us as the cybersecurity community, AI can support us by giving us time and freeing up resources. It reduces response times, it provides assistance and enhancing our knowledge, it enhances the security of our systems, for example of smart cars, for backend servers, or the company networks or IT, and much more. And lastly, it also strengthens the awareness of employees and can provide us with trends. All in all, we as security experts become more and more proactive via the usage of AI when it comes to implementing security measures and strengthen our systems before attacks even happen. Now let's talk about the threats of AI used by cybercriminals and the hidden threats, the usage of AI used by cybersecurity experts. This time, I also want to cover 5 subtopics of threats in cybersecurity coming from the usage of AI. The first topic is general attack enhancement. Second, I want to talk about social engineering, as I did before, just from another perspective. Third, I want to do the same with vulnerability management, looking from the perspective of a cybercriminal. Fourth, I want to talk about malware, especially the writing of malware by AI. And lastly, I want to talk about misinformation and the reliance of AI using information from the internet or other unreliable sources. So let's jump into it. Let us begin with general attack enhancement. In this topic, I want to talk about how AI can in general make cyber attacks more potent or to elevate an uneducated attacker on a higher level of expertise. So this works in a similar way like we as cybersecurity experts can use AI to strengthen our systems and to get educated information. An attacker can do the same. AI can gather information about the target the attacker wants to attack. It can also educate the attacker on the needed equipment and on certain attack action he needs to perform to fulfill his goals. AI can also perform certain attack actions on its own, and it can write malicious code like malware and payloads for the attacker who cannot do this on his or her own, or just saving time. Considering all of this, the use of AI by cybercriminals, we have a reduction in attack times and the needed expertise. When we now think about the main method of risk management in cybersecurity provided by the ISO SAE 21434, the TARA, or Threat Analysis and Risk Assessment, where we perform an attack feasibility assessment, we need to consider AI as a tool that leads to a major reduction in attack times and expertise, which leads to a much lower attack feasibility rating and in this way much higher risks. The next topic is social engineering. As we discussed before, social engineering, and especially phishing, is one major threat in all security domains. We talked about how AI can analyze phishing mails and messages, trying to find any anomalies or malicious URLs that we as humans could not pick up. This time, we want to look at the other side, where AI can help searching data to enhance such an attack, to make it more plausible, or to generally create more plausible and well-written phishing mails and messages, and even the possibility of AI to create deepfakes that can be used to make it even harder to differentiate between a real email and a phishing email. In this next section, I want to talk about vulnerability management. You might notice that the slide looks familiar, because in vulnerability management, AI is a double-edged sword. In vulnerability management, AI can do the same on both sides of the law. AI support vulnerability scanning by analyzing code, static or dynamic, and this time it's not the code we wrote or our company wrote, but it's the code we want to attack. It can identify potential weaknesses in this code, and if you find any weaknesses or vulnerabilities online, the attacker can let the AI build queries to check if the code they want to attack is affected by those weaknesses or vulnerabilities. So, in the same way this helps the security personnel, this also helps the attacker, providing the vulnerabilities to be used, to educate the attacker on how to exploit them, and to write exploits on its own. We already talked about some of the major threats in cybersecurity, and next I got another major one for you: malware. Malware is in all security domains, as well as in cybersecurity, very scary depending on how strong or how potent it is. And potent malware can affect about anything, from companies' IT to backend servers to smart cars, which is quite the horror when we talk about autonomous driving. So in this subtopic, when we look at the capabilities of AI, and specifically most chatbots, they can create even polymorphic malware. Some chatbots out there are now restricted, so that they are not easily willing to do this, or in other words, they will refuse firstly, but there are many breaches out there where people overcome those restrictions to make chatbots write polymorphic malware or any malicious code for them, and put those breaches online. And the AI-created malware or malicious code is on par with the malware or the code of the most competent hackers out there, so keep this in mind. If an attacker wants to conduct an attack with little to no knowledge of malware, they can now do this. Our last topic on the threats of AI for cybersecurity is misinformation. This time we are not looking from the attacker side, not really. We are just looking at the usage of AI in general, for the most part. As I told you in the topic before, AI is always reliant on the information provided. So most AI systems, for example chatbots, use the internet as their database. This is why, and I think you all know this, not everything written on the internet is true. So all the information used have the risk of being misinformation. When we start implementing AI as security solutions, we need to be able to distinguish false information from right information, because AI is being unable to tell the difference if there's more misinformation than correct information on a specific topic. Lastly, because I said not really from the attacker's perspective, an attacker could make use of this by starting to spread misinformation, for example in the internet, on certain topics, and though compromising the AI-supported security systems that we use as our solutions. Let's summarize this topic as well. So AI can support cybercriminals in many ways, like it supported us as cybersecurity experts. It saves them time, it frees up resources, it reduces attack times, it can provide assistance in enhancing knowledge of attackers, it enhances the attacks on systems like cars or backend servers or company networks, it strengthens social engineering and phishing attacks, it can provide malicious code like malware or even polymorphic malware, and it can weaken security enhancement through the reliance of an AI on given information. Now, let's come to our last topic, the future of AI and cybersecurity. Here I want to provide you with an outlook on the future of AI, the future of cybersecurity, and the future of both fields together. Let's start with a little introduction. Cybersecurity and artificial intelligence are two fast expanding fields of technology that will be highly reliant on each other in the future. Cybersecurity beyond the automotive industry will be needed to secure AI in all industries and in our daily lives. When we look at the last couple of years, in our daily lives and in our work life, we started to use AI more frequently, and with this comes, as I explained in the last topics, opportunities but also threats. Now let us focus on the future of AI specifically. In the future, artificial intelligence will become more and more potent, as I told you in the beginning. At the moment, there's only weak AI, but the first strong AIs will be created. This means AGIs and ASIs, so artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence, will be created. It's just a matter of years. Also, AI might be capable to validate information given or found more consistently comparing to us as humans. Like mentioned before, more and more fields of technology and our daily lives will be heavily reliant on AI and supported systems and tools. Not only cybersecurity and the automotive industry, but this is surely what we are focusing on. Secondly, an outlook on what we are here for, cybersecurity. In the future, cybersecurity will become more and more important, not only in the automotive industry and smart cars, able to drive on their own, but also for other fields of technologies and for securing AI solutions in all industries and beyond. In the near future, we will need more and more people to be capable of understanding AI and how it works, and the ability to train and to control AI and AI-supported tools. We will need experts to be able to validate the results of AI and train them further. Our daily jobs as security experts will have a shift on doing what we are doing to controlling an AI or teaching an AI to do the job for us so that we can focus on the important stuff. To conclude, in the history of mankind, any invention was neither good nor bad. It always depends on who uses it. The same is true for artificial intelligence, especially for cybersecurity and cybercrime. Cybersecurity will remain a highly competitive field where experts on both sides of the law compete against each other, like it always has been. The remaining question is not, is AI a cure or curse for cybersecurity? It is who utilizes AI best. But to end with the good news, AI-supported cybersecurity will allow us to be more and more proactive in our approach on security. With that said, I want to thank everyone for watching till the end, and I'm eager to read about your opinions, so write them in the comments below and maybe consider checking out our company. Thank you from my side, and thanks to everyone on the side of ASRG making this webinar possible. Bye bye.